And we're live. This is the Brothers by Law podcast with me, John, and this guy.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Hey, Paul. Get closer to the mic, Paul.
You're not my mom. Don't tell me what to do.
There we go. So, today we're going to be talking about a topic I love. And essentially what that is what's a good name for it? Life is a series of small...
Short terms. Life is a series of short terms.
Short terms.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So we want to start talking about what that means, right? So what does it mean that life is a series of short terms? The topic of today's podcast is basically the little things that you do in life are going to add up to the big things, and you should get excited about the little stuff. Paul, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I would be delighted. So we've got a chicken scratch board behind us that I was filling out before the show. I wanted to start with small choices. So life is a series of short terms. What we mean by that is that all of life is built up by short or small choices. So when you get into a car wreck, that is not necessarily a single choice. You've made several decisions, unconsciously or consciously, that have led up to that point. For instance, one of the first car wrecks I was ever in, I wasn't driving, my mom was driving, and one of the small decisions that led up to it was we were taking my brother to work. Now, my mom knew that she was exhausted, sleep deprived practically, and she still decided to take him to work. Instead of having him call in or seeing if somebody else could drive him, she decided to make the decision, and then she was neglecting the decision to turn her head. So small decisions lead to big consequences, and I think that's sort of what we're going for here.
Yeah.
The first thing we wanted to example, because I'm a very example-based learner, is going to be food.
Yeah, and just to kind of elaborate on the topic a little bit more, because it's pretty, what's the right word for it?
Obscure?
It's pretty obscure. You might be like, what are they talking about right now? This is a really good way to see it. So when you think about the stock market, right? When you put in, I'll just say it like this, $100 a month for like 40 years is not a lot of money. But when you do that for 40 years, that $100 turns into over $1 million. So the point is that these little things you're doing, like we're going to talk about in a second, are adding up to something greater, and they build on each other.
Yeah.
So, like the first one here,
Food.
The food that you eat, is really important. Obviously, it's going to if you eat the right food, and you go to work, you're going to feel better at work. If you feel better at work, you're going to do your job better. When you do your job better, you're going to feel better at work. When you feel better at work, you do your job better. And like these things build on each other. When you do better at your job, you go home to your family and you're a better husband or father because you're in a better mood. When you do that, you have a better home. So you're more comforted in that home. You get your stress taken care of when you're home. So you go to work and you do a better job. And these things just keep circling around each other. For sure. And they keep interacting with each other in little ways that add up big time. And that's kind of the whole point of the podcast today.
For sure. We talked a little bit beforehand, and I definitely wanted to touch on sort of short-term versus long-term benefits. So everything that we do is going to have short-term and long-term consequences, good or bad. So food, like he was saying, does have some immediately visible short-term consequences. Whereas you eat good food that you've prepared, you're more rested. You have more energy. It also is going to have some long-term benefits. If you consistently eat good food, your body chemistry is going to be more at balance. So you're going to feel those effects. If you turn it into a regular thing, you're going to feel those effects for a very long time. Another way that you can see this is like keeping your space clean. Now, if you're still living at home or you have roommates, this is keeping your room clean. If you are a husband or somebody in charge of the house, keeping the entirety of the house clean. The yard is a huge thing for a lot of dudes. What are some short-term benefits for that?
For keeping your yard clean?
Just your space, whatever your space is.
Well, yeah, so this is actually really huge for me just because, I'm pretty ADD, and when you're ADD, your environment really affects you a lot.
Sure.
So I, for one, like if my room is all messy, or let me say if my desk at work is all messy, I will be like way less productive,
Sure.
right? Because, I've really learned that you are a part of your environment, and your environment's going to affect the way you think, so it just, it's keeping things organized in your environment, keeps things organized in your brain.
Sure.
Easiest way to say that.
Yeah. And some long-term benefits you might experience are like, if you have a habit of keeping things clean, you're going to be more reliable when it comes to you're going to be able to help other people better if they need help getting stuff clean, because you're going to know how to clean efficiently. You're going to know how to maintain a clean space, because cleaning and maintaining a clean space are very different tasks. So like a top to bottom clean is a lot of energy, but maintaining a clean space is very little. So far all that we've talked about, I think, is more just to hammer home the idea of reaping what you sow. So whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. So the things that you've put in for cooking and for keeping your space clean is going to be your time and your energy primarily. And the things you're going to get out for it is you're going to have energy for the food option, and then you're going to have time that you get later, because if you maintain a clean space, you don't have to clean it later. So you put in what you get out.
Exactly. And I think I thought of another, part of this topic we can kind of go over too.
Shoot.
There's two ways of thinking about how to live your life. And I'm going to call these specialization and holism. Paul, do you have any idea, like, what do you think I mean by specialization and holism?
Do you mean WHOLE or HOLE?
WH.
WH, holism. Focusing on everything at once, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So this is the way I see it. There are some people that want to be the best at what they do, like at work, for example. Yeah. So, they're the kind of person, and something, Jordan Peterson talks about. I hate to quote this guy every episode, but whatever.
Here we go.
Jordan, you should come on the show. So a specializing person will focus 80 hours on their career. It's all they ever do. It's all they ever think about. It's all they tend to, really. And the rest of their life is kind of put on hold.
A type A personality.
Yeah. And I think in a lot of ways I've lived that life a little bit. Of course, I didn't have a family, so that made it easy.
It's true.
But, I definitely, got my friends further away in my life, and, that's how it works. So... And
that's why you're stuck with me.
That's right. So now I only have Paul, and we're doing this stupid podcast, and I'm the only subscriber to this channel right now.
It's true. I'm not even subscribed.
Yeah.
I don't want people knowing I watch this.
Now, so like I said, I used to be more of a specialist in a way. I consider myself a holist. It's a different philosophy about living your life, right? So a holist says everything affects everything. If you're going to build your family to a strong spot, but you don't take care of your work, your family is going to suffer from work. So it's pointless to focus on the family if you don't have good income coming in.
Okay.
You can't keep the family healthy.
Sure.
Or vice versa. What's the point in going and making $500,000 a year
if your family life sucks?
If your family life sucks, you neglect your wife, your kids,
sure.
Things unravel, ends up in a divorce. Like, what have you gained from making all that money?
A whole lot of debt.
She owns you. There's a lot of problems there. So, I really changed my philosophy from, okay, my goal is to make a huge company and rule the world, to I'm going to get my life really clean and really sharp.
Okay.
The way I put it together. So that's kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah. Okay. So the next sort of thing we have on the menu here is, we're already sort of talking about work, so I think we'll just hop in there. So work is going to be one of the many ways that work is something sort of in the inverse of what we talked about earlier, so food and cleaning. You're going to notice right off the bat short-term benefits. You're going to have more energy, you're going to have more time because you've cleaned it ahead of time, stuff like that. Work is going to be sort of the reverse of that. So if you go to work every day for a week and you do really, really good work, just top-notch work, right? Your boss might notice and say, hey, you've been doing a great job today, but he's not going to give you a raise on the spot. He's also not going to give you a promotion on the spot. But if you go in every day for 52 weeks and you do solid work every day for those 52 weeks, at the end of the year, your boss is going to come to you and say, hey, this year has been incredible for you, and more than likely you're going to get a promotion for it. Now, you didn't see or you didn't experience the benefits of all that hard work until a year had passed. So while you probably felt better at work because you were doing better work or more work, you probably felt better, but you didn't get any like immediate benefit from it in a work-related sense, apart from just a sense of accomplishment, which is fine. But you get a really big long-term benefit, and
Right.
it's only done. You only get that long-term benefit if you put in all the work on those 52 weeks.
Right.
You know, you can't do 25 weeks and call it a day or call it a year.
So I think what you're kind of talking about is like, if you're actually going to be great, you have to be great consistently.
Correct.
You can't just bring it one day and the next day you're like, not today.
That sounds like something Usain Bolt would say. If you
Yeah.
want to be fast, you got to be fast every day. You can't be fast for one day a year. Although that's easy to say coming from him since he's the fastest man ever.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
I just work here though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are some other ways or what are some other like important things that a man can be worried about, or not worried, but like concerned with, that have sort of that inverse of like not very many short term but big long term.
Well, so we were talking about the positive effects of like long-term work,
Yeah.
right? Let's talk about the negative effects
Of long term work.
of the opposite of letting
Oh.
things slide.
Oh, all right.
So
Dying alone in a ditch. There it is.
here's the deal. So like we were talking about like the idea of like compound interest in your life, like everything adds up eventually and it all grows on each other. It's the same the other way.
That's
right?
true.
So the little things that you don't pay attention to, like what's a good example of something that like keeping your
I'm just
room-
gonna smoke a little bit of weed.
Okay, yeah. Doing
It can be. I'm not saying it's always a bad idea or always a terrible thing, but it can cause some
that was
incredible.
the worst example you could have picked.
No, you said you were looking for things that add up badly. If
No,
you
and
do
they
just
do.
a little bit of weed every so often, it might not have an immediate adverse reaction to you, but it's going to affect you in the long term. It's just going to do it.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. I want to use the example of like
Keeping your room dirty, that's a little safer.
yeah.
It sounded like that's where you were going.
I don't want look, I mean, if Joe Rogan's going to be on this podcast next week,
Joe Rogan will never talk to me because I do not want
you know
to
what?
talk to him.
Let's do this right now. I've seen this happen so many times. Ben Shapiro did this. A lot of other people that have been on Joe Rogan's podcast have done this. Steven Crowder had a shout with him. Joe Rogan, we want to challenge you about weed.
I don't, though.
I do.
I don't.
You're wrong, Joe Rogan. Weed's bad for you.
Yeah. So is everything fun. Alcohol's bad for you, too.
I don't even know if I believe what I just said. Joe Rogan. You should come on
He's
the
never
show.
going to talk to us.
Yeah, he is.
That's fine.
Yeah, he's
never
gonna hear
to.
this. How do you know he's not like searching for podcasts that are new? And fresh?
Because I have seen just enough of Joe Rogan to know that he is on so many different types of drugs right now. Even if he saw us, he wouldn't remember us.
Joe Rogan seems pretty sober most of the time. I don't even know.
Anyway, keeping your room dirty.
Okay, so like,
Yeah, that's right. We're Christians.
so that's like one thing. Yeah, so keeping your room dirty is like one thing. Like we like to focus in life on like the big things,
The big choices.
like the big choice. Exactly.
Climactic moments.
But in all reality, like you keeping your room dirty is hurting you a lot more than a lot of the things you're worried about.
Yeah. Because it lowers your expectations for everything else.
Yeah.
So if you have a dirty room, why should you expect anything else to be clean? And that can be harmful to your productivity. That can be harmful to your just general mindset. It can be harmful to your self-worth.
100%. Yeah, I remember, I used to have like, my room used to be super dirty all the time.
Sure did.
Sure did.
I remember it.
Yeah. But now it's clean like almost all the time.
I believe
like
it.
most of the time. And I cannot tell you how much that is like helped me in my life. Like when I go to work, I'm much more focused. There's so many things about that. But like that's one little thing that seems so stupid and little that seriously just grows on you.
It's true.
So
Whether you clean it or not, it's going to affect you.
yeah,
Same thing with food, I think. So, like, if you're used to eating good food, like both of us were we're very blessed to be able to grow up in houses with moms who knew how to cook pretty well. And moving out, John can really back this up because his family has a bit of a problem with sugar and caffeine and really just eating in general.
yeah,
If John eats like crap for like 3 days in a row, he's gonna feel that, and I'm gonna start noticing it if he starts hanging around me and he's been eating like crap. Like if you go and you have like ice cream and tacos and not a single green vegetable of any kind or anything like that, it's going to affect your mood. And you're kind of an extreme example where it'll affect you real quick. But for a lot of people, that can take time. Like for me, I can eat like crap for like a month before I start to act weird.
yeah. I literally from doing things like cleaning my room to not eating as much sugar to I don't know, like going to sleep at a decent time, a decent amount of time.
That's a big one.
I'm telling you, I used to take like drugs for my ADD, like Ritalin, right? And I don't have to take that anymore
Because you just manage your life better.
because I just manage my life better, you know? And it's just like that's we just don't pay attention to the small things like that. But like think about it, if that can heal someone that has ADD, like even if you're a normal person, how much more high functioning can you be
Yeah,
when you're at work,
I'd say.
right? So it's just
Yeah. I think, are you ready to move on to reputation?
yeah, for sure.
So another sort of area that and the reason we've chosen these different examples that we have is I wanted to showcase things that I think are important for men to have. And a reputation is sort of a weird thing. So for a man, it's good to have reputation, and it's very important to a lot of men to have a good reputation. Our cat is joining us. Harmony is attacking John. I'm just going to keep going and pretend like he's not here. So, reputation is very important for a very large portion of men, and that's fine. I don't think that's a bad thing to want a good reputation. But how do you get one? So, reputation is another one of those things that you have to build up over time, because if you do one trustworthy thing, that might, depending on the size of it, that might win over a couple people, but it's not going to be something that they're going to tell you and say, oh yeah, no, they always do the right thing. That's not going to be the story they tell. The story they tell is going to be, oh man, he did right by me this one time in this really big way. Which can be, that can be enough, but if you want to have a good reputation, it's got to be a lot of small things over a long period of time.
Yeah, and I think this cat is attacking me.
She's going for you.
The reputation's a little bit different. I think reputation, it's really hard to get a really good reputation
Because it has instant consequences.
Yeah, I think it takes years to really build that up.
Yeah.
But you can have a bad reputation in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There's actually a Rush quote, the band. The measure of a life is a measure of love and respect, so hard to earn, so easily burned. That's a good line by Neil Peart. Rest in peace.
That's a fact. I think it's kind of funny because work and reputation are different, because with work, if you slack off for a day, probably not going to get noticed.
Right.
Whereas if you slack off in your reputation, people are going to notice instantly. That's going to be a problem.
Talking about reputation, this is a debate that I've had with a couple people. How much do you think, the way you dress and all that kind of stuff matters?
For reputation?
Yeah.
Depends who you're hanging out with.
I have a feeling we might disagree on this one a little
It
bit.
depends who you're hanging out with.
I don't think it does depend who you hang out with.
I think you're hanging out with the wrong people.
No.
I think if people are so concerned with what you wear, those are the people I don't want to be around. I'm not saying that's not the people you should be around. I'm just saying that's the people I don't want to be around.
This is another, just like last week's episode.
Last week's fist fight.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So,
Okay.
you don't choose if you're affected by nonverbal cues. You just are. It's not a moral argument. This is another thing where I think you're making a moral argument out of something that's not a moral argument.
What do you mean?
It's not wrong. I think what you're kind of saying is it's wrong to judge people by the way they look. and it is wrong
Yes.
to judge people by the way
Yes,
they look.
that is exactly what I'm saying, and I'm willing to fight for that.
But what I'm saying is that you do it
And
in
then
little
you should
ways
put that to
you-
death.
in ways that you can't control.
Sure you can. You can control how you act.
Well, yeah, you can, but there's called a subconscious part of your brain.
Yeah, and you need to fight against that. I don't know. Okay, hold on. Real quick, I'm going to interject here. I hate my subconscious. I think my subconscious is a little poopy butthead. And I do everything I can to put my subconscious down.
Okay.
I think that's a horrible, horrible thing, my subconscious. So I think, yeah, you absolutely can affect how you react.
I don't think you can. I don't like. Okay, so
So is racism right? I'm sorry, I'm going. I'm spiced.
no. Wait a second. How do we get to freaking?
You
racism?
said that you can't control subconscious things. If you are subconsciously racist, does that make it okay?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So you can control your subconscious.
Right. You get. Okay, that's different. Racism.
How is it different?
Actually,
you said
actually,
you
let me
can't
back
control
up.
subconscious.
Let me back up for a second.
Yeah.
There are people that are a little bit racist, and that's part of like
And that's something they need to fight
that's
against.
something they need to fight against. But my point is like I don't think the clothes you wear is like the same thing. Like I'm in sales, for example. I guarantee you, like if you dress like crap in sales, if you're meeting people face to face,
Oh, wait. Hold on.
your numbers are going to go down.
Hold on. So are we, wait. Are we talking about friends or are we talking about a professional setting?
Professional setting.
Oh, well, I'm completely misunderstood what we were talking about. I thought you were talking about friends. If friends judge you on what I look like, I absolutely don't want to hang out with them.
But
Work is absolutely correct. You do need to dress appropriate for work.
But if you're going to go into business, people remember you from the friend life. It's like these things are not like separated in the way people think they are.
How do people think they're separated?
People,
Because I think they're separated.
I don't think they are. You know, like if you're going to go into business, like your reputation, like, okay, so like when I had a lawn care business, right?
Okay.
If people thought if I dressed like a dope head and like
How?
in life,
Like how would you dress?
like sag my pants, like I had like let's say I had super long ratty hair,
Okay.
you know, like my clothes were nasty, I smelled like weed.
Okay.
Okay,
But
now
do you do good work?
okay, that matters. But what I'm saying is like if I go into that lawn care business now with all that stuff that people associate with me, it's going to hurt my lawn care business.
Okay.
Regardless.
All right.
Because business is something where like people know people who know people who know people who know people.
Sure.
So like in the music business, people think people become successful in the music business from like putting on a good show and impressing the people in the crowd, and that's true. But really the way you make it in the music business is being a good person in the music business and knowing the people who know the people who know the people that make the records. Like it's all about your reputation from person to person.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think it is more a question of who you know than what they know about you.
Okay. But if someone looks at me and when I'm not at work I dress like a dope head, are they going to push my business to other people as much?
I don't know. Do they like you?
It doesn't matter.
It would to me. I don't know anybody in my life who judges somebody based off of how they dress, because that is such a non-issue. Because here's the thing. So I work in the banking industry,
Yeah.
right? I work pretty closely with people who are years and years and years and years ahead of me in their career. They don't care how I look. They only care that I am technically following the rules. So I have exposed tattoos, I have exposed facial piercings, I have exposed non-facial piercings.
Yeah.
And they don't care so long as I am technically following the rules, which is I wear a button down when they ask me to.
Right.
They don't care what I look like, they care the quality of my work. And that's in the business setting that you're talking about. Now, I understand in sales that's going to be different.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that in a friend or in a non-professional relationship, anybody who cares what you dress like is not the kind of friend that I want.
So, okay, but let's say that you have two people
Okay.
in a company.
Sure.
And they both want the same position. They want to move into this management position.
Sure.
And they do the same amount of work.
Okay.
They do the job the same. They're perfectly equal in every way.
Okay.
They've been late. One person dresses like they just got off the street, and one person dresses professionally.
When they're at the office? Or
Yeah.
just in there? Okay, so when they're in the office, yeah, absolutely. You go with the person who dresses better.
So what you were just saying, that the way you dress at
Does
your work,
not affect.
you're saying it doesn't affect
only
you. Only
at work. Only at work does it affect me.
So it does affect you. But
Only
you
at
were
work.
just saying that the people that you work with don't care.
Yeah, they don't. They only care because my boss's 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 boss wants them to care.
Okay.
So my boss times 3 only cares because my boss times 4 tells them that they have to.
Right. But if they want to make the boss happy, and they promote someone that, I'm not saying you look like crap at work. I'm just saying, like, this is a continuum. Like,
Well, yeah, it's a question of obeying the rules.
it's a question about obeying the rules, but we are.
I thought we were talking
subconsciously-
about in personal life. How you dress in personal life is going to affect your business life. I thought what we were talking about.
I think it's in certain situations, but like, I guess for me, definitely, because everything I want to accomplish in life has to do with my image.
You are very big into networking, and I think you are going to need that, and sure. But what I'm saying is that, and this is just for me, this is not advice for anybody else, I wouldn't want to be in that kind of line of life where I couldn't dress how I wanted when I wasn't at work. That's something that I'm not willing to give up.
And that's fine. But my argument isn't that you should or shouldn't give it up. I'm saying it does affect you the way you dress.
Only in certain lines of work, though. Because my line of work does not care what I dress like when I'm not at work. My wife does not care. My wife can wear whatever she wants when she's not at work, and nobody gives a crap. Yours is different because you live and die by networking.
Yeah.
So I'm saying in some lines of work it matters. In most others, it doesn't.
So maybe you're saying, like, initially, because I feel like, okay, you're going to a job interview,
Okay.
right? That's going to matter.
No, that's
for you.
That's in the business world, though. I'm saying in the personal world, no one cares how you dress. In the office, yes, it matters. Outside the office, no one cares.
Well, let's go to this. Like, okay,
it doesn't affect your reputation, is my point.
It might. I think it does still. At
Only
my
in
job,
one line of work.
No. A lot of the people, and a lot of jobs actually, a lot of the people that work in companies have been referred into the company.
Okay.
Now, when you hire someone, or when you have someone hired by your recommendation,
Yeah.
right? Your reputation is attached to the person that you decided to bring on.
Sure.
So, if you are the person that is willing to give a reference to another person,
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about that, and you're going to be less likely to recommend that person to the job if they look like trash when they're walking around. I think I
haven't done that.
might not be conscious of it, but I think at the end of the day, it's probably there. You might not know it.
I haven't done that because I have invited somebody to my work that dresses like crap when they're not at work because they're not at work. I think judging someone based on how they dress when they're not at work.
Well, and you did the right thing by looking past your subconscious bias.
I just don't think the subconscious bias is that big of a deal. In barring like a couple lines of work, when you're off duty, nobody has any right to tell you what to dress like.
I'm not saying they have a right to.
Yeah, and I'm saying I get that. You're saying that they're going to, whether you believe it or not. I don't see that.
I'm saying it's going to affect you, and we're talking about
because it's going to affect them.
And we're talking about the small things that will eventually add up.
I've never seen that happen. I'm friends with a lot of managers and a lot of banks. I've never seen that happen once. Yeah, and I see them interact with people off duty.
All
the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I've just never seen it. Maybe it's there. I don't know. My anecdotal evidence is that it's never happened.
Because there's something called the halo effect in psychology, and better looking people are given more of a benefit of the doubt. That's not really like that.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying I didn't say anything about how attractive they were. We were talking about how they're dressing.
But
we're talking
how
about
attractive?
how they're dressing.
But you will look more attractive when you dress better.
At work.
No.
No. Here's what I'm saying. If I host a barbecue, right, and I am inviting people that I work with,
Yeah.
and they show up in shorts and a tank top,
Right.
I am going to look down on anyone who sees them as dressing like a schlub because it's hot at a cookout. I will actively look down on someone who judges them on that.
Yeah, but it's not like people announce this, and it's not like people are even conscious of it sometimes.
I've just never seen it though.
Well, you don't see this.
No, I do. I've been very heavily involved with how people get hired on at my work.
So-
I've seen it. I watch it very
I
closely.
understand. So if the halo effect is real, and you admit that, and people, you do look more attractive when you dress better.
Yeah, but hold on.
Therefore,
You're talking about the interview process. The interview process
let me make my
falls
point,
under the
though.
purview of work, though.
Let me make my point.
Okay.
So you will look more attractive when you dress better.
Okay.
You will inherit more of the halo effect.
Okay.
Therefore, people will think better of you without even thinking about it. So I'm not saying you've seen this, but I'm saying it's a factor.
I think people will think better of you, sure, but the
Yeah.
question is going to be this.
So you are more likely
But
or
where are they
less
gonna see
likely.
you?
So no, but the question is, are you more likely or less likely to get referred for jobs after that? When you consider that.
It's going to depend on who's referring you.
I said, are you more likely or less likely?
It's going to depend on who's referring you.
That's
That's
part
the
of
answer.
That's part of the equation.
Yeah. So how you dress when you're not at work isn't going to affect whether or not one of my friends... How I dress at work,
Yeah.
or excuse me, how I dress when I'm at home is not going to have any effect on whether or not a friend would suggest me a job.
Right. Maybe not at home, but like if you go out in public.
At Walmart? Or do you mean like at work? Because I dress very differently for those two occasions.
Walmart or work. Walmart.
Because
Like,
Walmart
let's say you're going
and
to
work are
Walmart.
different. Okay, then I'm going to wear shorts, I'm going to wear a tank top, and I'm not going to do a dang thing with my hair.
And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm saying that you might not even notice it, but I think long term it would like affect your reputation a little bit. And I'm not
With
saying it's
who?
even bad. People know people who know people who know people. We all
But
live in a
if you're-
network. You're connected to like millions of people right now. You
I'm
don't even know it.
connected to only the people... I have everyone compartmentalized, and maybe this is weird for me.
No. It's not about what you think. It's about how
it's about
people
who I
act.
know. I have everyone compartmentalized, okay? All the people that I know at church,
Yeah.
I just know from church, and I hang out with them at church events.
Right.
All the people that I know from my family, I hang out with family events, and on occasion, like with you, I can have you over to my house. All the people I know from work, I take great pains to not see when I'm not at work. I take great pains to make sure
great.
that I don't see them at work.
That's great.
And no one who they know is going to recognize me and then say, "Oh my gosh, you'll never guess Paul was wearing his Patrick Star pants at Walmart yesterday."
But
I think if you don't do that, you're being willfully ignorant.
here's the thing, though. I don't know about you. I've gotten a lot of jobs from the people I know in my personal life.
Okay.
Like half of them.
Okay.
So if I like I said, if I dress and like terribly, and I'm wearing like pants down to my ankles, or I'm like my hair is a freaking mess, like they're not gonna suggest me to their job.
What
or
if your
hire
work
me.
is really high quality?
But okay, look, your quality of work you're not
Should be the
getting this.
only thing that matters.
It should be, but it's not.
I've never seen anyone who cares about anything but quality of work in any of my jobs.
Look,
no one.
okay,
Ever.
Can I make one?
Go for it.
When's
I'm
the last
saying-
time we had a bald president?
Huh?
When's the last time we had a bald president?
It depends if you believe the last one was what they wrote about him. Because he had a toupee.
Okay, and then well,
Look, what's your point?
My point is that
Hair does not make the man.
No. Ever since TV has been a part of elections, the presidents have looked better. No, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Donald Trump does not look better than Martin Van Buren. Fight me. Joe Biden does not look better than frickin' Abraham Lincoln.
Do you think
Presidents of the United States have always been babes. You cannot change my mind.
Obama? Let's talk about Obama for a second.
He was hot.
Right. Do you think
Abraham
Obama
Lincoln was also hot.
Do you think Obama being good looking affected his likelihood of becoming president?
I think we're getting way off in the weeds. Yes, of course.
Obviously.
Of course, the way he looked affected it. But here's the thing.
Yes.
Every
Why is it any
president has
different
had
for
that.
anyone else?
Because they are
Why is it different for you?
televised
Yeah, but you're walking around too. People see you.
to people that I don't know.
Okay. But eventually these people are going to cross paths and know each other. That's how it works. Like,
Okay.
let's at least, like maybe not Walmart, obviously, but like, like church. Or
Okay.
maybe you see someone from church at Walmart.
Okay.
Or someone from your work at Walmart.
Then I avoid them.
That goes into the equation of how you're perceived, which goes into the equation of how well you do. That's one
Wrong.
of the parts of the equation.
I have
No.
in any okay.
I've worked. You keep going to the same point, saying
I've-
that you've never seen
because
this.
it's a good point.
Because it's
I've worked in food production. I've worked in rock quarry salesman. I've worked in electrical work. I've worked in banking. I have seen all different shapes and sizes and colors of people, and ain't nobody ever gave no dang about what anybody wore on their body. They cared about the quality of their work.
You're not getting it.
No, I am
You
getting
don't
it.
see this happening. This
Yeah.
happens under the surface. This happens under the radar.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No person who is in authority, who stays in authority for any amount of time, bases stuff off of things that they don't notice. Because every manager I've ever had judges everything off of stuff that they purposefully make notes of.
Okay, right. Yeah, so you're saying that human beings are completely logical creatures, and they're not affected by the subconscious.
No, I'm saying the people that maintain roles in management are.
No, they don't. We don't, look, I'm a salesman.
Okay?
I understand this. We don't buy things for logical reasons. We buy them for emotional reasons.
Wrong.
And the way... Bullcrap, dude. This is what I know.
I have never
No,
been man,
no.
I'm so
No.
excited to have bugs away from my house.
Look. When you are in a store... Okay.
Podcast down.
Of the equations, one of the part of the equation of you buying something, right?
It's because I want to not starve to death.
One is it looks good, and two is how well it works. Those two play with each other. If it looks really good,
No.
you're more likely to buy it.
Wrong.
Bullshit. Dude,
I refuse.
this is not debatable.
No, it is debatable.
No,
because
it's not.
I don't do that. And I know what you're gonna say. P. Paul, you are a. This is a one-off thing. This is your what's the word I'm looking for? Anecdotal argument. Yeah, you're asking my opinion.
Your opinion's wrong.
No. Look, okay.
That clipped.
Yeah, it sure did. So look, here's the thing. Here we go. Podcast down. Here. I have never met anyone who would judge someone based off of they wear clothes that I don't like when they're not at work. When you're at work, that's an entirely different matter. I would struggle for you to find me one person who anyone would respect, who doesn't already have a terrible reputation, who would judge someone based off of what they wear when they're not at work. If you judge someone based off what they wear when they're not at work, everyone hates you. No exceptions.
Okay. One, it's not something you even say out loud. And for a lot of people, it's not, obviously you, it's not something you'd even notice. You just told me, okay, you're telling me that when you walk into a store like Walmart,
Yes.
that the look of something doesn't affect what you buy.
No.
Okay.
I care about what it tastes like.
Maybe, possibly, maybe you're different than other people in that way. I doubt it. Right? But almost everyone is like that. If not everyone.
Well, then everyone's stupid.
look, it's then why why do marketers spend so much money on design if it doesn't affect people?
You know,
You're seriously.
that's a very good question.
Okay, are we having an honest conversation?
We are
You're
having an
telling
honest
me like
conversation.
a can of. We just bought this beer,
Okay.
Alaskan Amber.
Sure.
We had a conversation in the store about how good the logo looks.
Yeah. And I was thinking about the entire time I was thinking about how I've had this exact beer before and I love how it tastes.
Okay.
That was the only thing that crossed my mind until you brought up the packaging.
Part of the reason, I know, like looking back on it, part of the reason I bought it, I like the way it looks. And that's the way most people's brain works.
Then you're bad. Get wrecked,
You're-
scrub lord.
The thing is that like you're acting like this is like some kind of like debatable topic. It's
I'm
just not.
acting like people ought to be able to control themselves.
But there's a billion things you're trying to work on in a day. And when things are going quickly, it's just how you act. You don't, like, yesterday I was buying cologne, okay?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, the
No,
way the
I'm agreeing
cologne
with
bottle looked
Okay.
affected what I bought on some level.
Did you smell it?
I did.
Did you like how it smelled?
Yes.
Then
But
why
the
do you
one
care
I-
what it looks like?
But the one I picked out first, the one I picked up and looked at, out of the 10 that were there, I looked at 3.
Okay.
I honestly, part of the reason I picked 3 was because the label was cool.
Okay. Let me
Right?
ask you this. Let's suppose that you have, hypothetically, you
Yeah.
go to the store and you are looking for yourself a new body wash.
Yeah.
And you see one that is in a completely formless white bottle with black text and it says body wash. And then you pick up another one that is a colored bottle that has sort of, basic text and it says, hydrating body wash. And then you have a third one that is in the coolest bottle you've ever seen. It's shaped like a Mustang. It's got the classy text on the side, and it says, "Freaking ultimate hydrating body wash. It'll change your life into 1 billion models." And you pick up that one first because it's compelling, and it smells like dog vomit.
This is
You
where,
immediately don't care what it looks like.
this is where your illustration breaks down.
No, because
No,
that's exactly what
listen.
it's like.
No, stop.
Educate me, master.
There's no education here. You should know this. When I walk into a store to buy shampoo, I don't read the label. The only thing I
Look
look
at the bottle.
No, I don't look at the bottle.
That's why I said it looks like a Mustang. You just said people do care about the
Okay,
bottles.
but this is an exception. It's all the shampoo. I buy the cheapest one, dude.
Okay, then okay.
So in
substitute
this
this out
case-
for literally any other product.
Okay.
Because apparently people care about that. Deodorant.
Okay, let me tell you how I pick deodorant. On some level, I want something that's not freaking
No, but
nasty.
You didn't answer the question. The first thing you pick up is the one that looks most compelling, but it smells like dog throw up.
Yeah,
You no longer care what it looks like.
right.
I'm not asking. That's a fact.
No,
you pick up
no.
the other ones and test them.
Looks for
Do not matter.
Oh crap! No. The way something looks might open the door.
For it to
it's
smell
gonna-
like dog vomit.
It's going to make you consider it more. This is people. This is something people talk about a lot. Like, okay, Chick-fil-A sandwiches are really, really good,
Yeah.
but they're not that good.
Oh, you get out of my house, sinner. They
What?
are that good.
But guess what? You know this is scientifically proven that food tastes better when it looks better. Food tastes better when it looks better.
Yes.
Right.
No. Hold
No,
on,
but it should
hold-
only matter how it tastes, right?
No, because here's the thing. Brown lettuce looks bad and it tastes bad because it looks bad because it is rotted.
Okay.
Food tastes better when it looks better because that's how food works. No. Here's the thing. Okay, the deodorant thing. It looks cool, so it's the first one you pick up.
Yeah.
And it smells like dog puke. You are not going to entertain the idea because the bottle's cool. I don't care who you are. You're not going to want to smell like dog
You
puke.
already entertained the idea when you picked it up and smelled it.
Yeah, and then
Part
you
of the
immediately
job-
realized it was a bad idea.
Part of the job of the advertiser is to get you to pick it up and smell it.
And then you immediately realize it's a bad idea.
Okay.
So you put it away.
But what if it's a good one? So let's say there's 3 good ones.
Okay.
And one looks cool and the other 2 don't look cool. You're going
That's
to pick
not
the one
the-
that looks cool
That's
first.
not the situation that ever comes up. If you're looking for a job,
does.
you do not have 3 qualified applicants who just so happen to all do the same amount of work, who just so happen to all dress the same except for the one dude who looks like a homeless person. You don't have that. You have one person who smokes so much weed that his entire IQ has been reduced to negative digits. He owes points on IQ points. You have one person who barely speaks the language, but is by golly trying their best, and you feel bad for him. And you have one dude who's an acceptable applicant. He's not great, he's acceptable, but he can become better. And you always choose the least terrible of the 3. You don't ever have 3 equally matched people and one person who does the same amount of work but looks like crap. You never have that. No hiring manager will ever tell you that they've had 3 exact duplicates.
That's not what
and one stoner.
I'm not saying that.
No, you're saying that, let's say there's 3 that are of equal value and one looks cooler. That's never the case.
Okay. It's a multivariate equation. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say when you're getting hired for a job.
Okay.
When you're getting hired for a job, there's 5 things that matter. There's like 100 things that matter when you're being considered.
Sure.
That some are subconscious, some are conscious.
Sure.
Okay. Number 1. Let's say it is your age.
Okay.
Okay, we want someone that's like above the age of 25, life experience.
Okay.
That might be sometimes subconscious,
Okay.
right? Let's say it was also having a college degree. Now that's black and white. Let's say another thing that you might consider is the way they talk, right?
Okay.
Another thing you might consider is that they showed up on time.
Yeah.
And another thing that is completely subconscious is looks, the way they look, right? Because of the halo effect, right? Now, I'm not saying, now let's say that you have 2 people,
Okay.
and one is very, very educated, right? And very, very qualified for the job and speaks amazingly and is very articulate and all that stuff. And then you have one person that does not have a degree, and degrees don't matter as much as, but that's just for the example. They don't have a degree, they're not qualified for the job. The resume sucks, all this stuff, but they're very attractive. I'm not saying that the attractive person is going to win over the qualified person just because they're attractive. I'm saying that it gives them a little bit of a boost.
Okay.
Right? And sometimes the way things add up is that attractiveness is enough to make them chosen over the other person. It happens. I'm not saying that they're 2 equal people besides attractiveness, but I'm saying different things have different weighted points. And this is all happening inside your subconscious brain, that you're adding things up together. That's how it works.
Okay. I
This is not like really like,
I think
no psychologist would agree with you.
I think any hiring manager, no, but I think every employee would. Any hiring manager who hires like that is going to have so many complaints up his wazoo that it's not even going to be
This
funny.
is not something that you say out loud. Like, when I got hired at my job.
People know.
No, you don't know.
Yes, I do. I know all of the applicants who come through my office, not because I'm part of the hiring team, but because I see them walk into the building.
You don't know what's happening inside the hiring manager's brain. You can't
I do.
see that. Okay, like Builder Trend, for example.
Okay.
Right? There are people, when you're a salesperson, they're more trying to hire you versus you trying to get a job with them.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so the people that are recruiting you at Builder Trend to be a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
These people, okay, they're 3 girls, they're all very attractive. Okay?
Yeah.
Tell me that's on accident. It's not on accident. They're doing that because they understand the halo effect. Right? That's how that works.
But are they qualified?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Attractiveness is a bonus. It's not a swing.
Okay.
It's not a swing issue.
But attractiveness will increase the amount of people that want to work there.
Yeah.
When the recruiters are attractive.
Sure.
Okay? That's what I'm saying. This is the whole point. Like, attractiveness gives you extra points that you didn't earn. There's something called attractiveness privilege. I'm not saying we should care about it. I'm just saying it's there. This is the whole point. So it ties back to like the way you dress. The way you dress makes you more attractive.
Yeah.
So in little ways, it's going to give you extra points that you didn't earn. That's my whole point. And I am right.
I've never seen that.
How many times do I have to tell you it's not something you see? You don't see people's subconscious thoughts coming out of their head. That's not how it works.
I have
You're almost
seen
making me mad.
I've seen the exact contrary multiple
dude.
times.
Gosh, man.
I see two equally qualified people, but the less attractive of the two gets the job.
I'm not saying that can't happen. We're having a very serious conversation right now.
Look,
I'm not saying... Okay, let's finish this up really quick. But what you just said just displays that you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I do know
You
what
don't
you're
care
talking
what
about.
you're
You're saying
saying.
it's a subconscious thing.
I'm not saying
You're
that
saying it's subconscious.
I'm not saying that the more attractive person is always going to get the job.
They're going to get subconscious points. I understand that.
Yes, it's going to add up with everything else.
My point is, I think anyone who does that is a piece of crap.
I'm saying you don't choose to do that.
I do.
No, okay.
I do.
If you are consciously thinking about it,
Yeah, and they should be. As hiring managers, that's their job.
right. Good point. There you go.
Hey!
Beautiful.
I know. I am. Thank you. I am.
that was
I am
good.
beautiful. I
But
get
what I'm saying
way
is,
more
like,
subconscious points than John does.
But if you're listening to this, this is my point. My job is to talk to people. My job depends on the impressions I give about myself.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
And I agree.
And
At work.
from someone that does that and that has experience going out selling door to door with an attractive girl with me and going out and selling door to door with another dude with me.
At work.
The way people respond to you is drastically affected by having a beautiful girl with you.
Yeah.
Okay?
At work.
Everywhere. No. If you go to a party with an attractive girl, the guys are going to look at you differently.
Sure.
I'm just saying that's how it is. So you have to be aware of that, right? This is fun. This is really fun.
Podcast down. We had so many things planned, and we've just spent half an hour arguing about whether or not that's something that is taken into account. I don't doubt.
Are we arguing that it's something that's taken into account, or that it should be?
I don't doubt that it does happen.
Okay.
Sometimes.
You just said you've never seen it happen.
I haven't. I said I don't doubt that it happens. Hold on, shut up. I don't doubt that it happens sometimes.
It happens every day, man. You do it, by the way.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No,
yes,
I
you
don't.
do.
How?
You
In
do.
what way would I possibly do this?
Okay.
My most attractive coworker, I don't like talking to.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because she doesn't know how to do her job yet. Because she's a trainee. And I don't like training people.
Okay. That's fine. I'm not saying that you're always going to like the attractive person. You keep saying that.
That's what it is.
I'm not saying
That's
that.
the
I'm
halo
saying that
effect.
you are more likely to attribute good attributes to that person. You are. This is a psychological fact. Yes, it is.
Psychological nothing. Psychology can't prove anything. They can only suspect and notice large tendencies. Okay? No.
Well,
I think this is something that is entirely within the control of the person experiencing
no,
it.
it's not.
It is. It is. You are in complete control of your faculties unless you are mentally incapable of controlling some part of yourself, which is what we call a disorder. You are in complete control of yourself, so whether or not you allow somebody who's attractive to get more brownie points with you, that is entirely up to you.
You can't keep track of your subconscious all the time.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
100%.
No, you can't.
100%.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
This is not going to turn into an automatic gainsaying contest, but you absolutely can. Because if you can't, then doing things that are wrong aren't wrong anymore. Because my subconscious made me do it. If you cannot control your subconscious is what overrides you to commit crimes of passion. It is exactly the same thing.
Particularly about attraction and the way people
You
look.
said you can't control your subconscious. That's what you said. Do you disagree? Do you agree with that, or
Let's
do you not
make
agree
that
with that?
statement more specific. You cannot always control your subconscious when it deals with the way things look, what your eyes see
Wrong.
affects the way you think about things.
Wrong.
Dude, Ah!
We had a whole plan for this podcast, and it's gone, but I'm really enjoying this.
I'm actually mad. Because, like, talk to any expert in this field.
Talk to your dad. Can your dad...
This is not my dad's field of
No,
expertise.
no. But your dad is a aged wine individual. Do you believe that he is aware that he can control his subconscious? Do you think that he believes he can control his subconscious? Talk to my dad. He's another aged wine individual. He can control his subconscious.
Okay,
because it is work. It is work and it is hard, but it is doable. And it is your job to do it.
And I agree. As much as you can.
No, period. It's your job to do it, period. There is no as much as you can. There is no get out of jail free card. It was my subconscious and I lost control of it.
My point was never if you can control it or can't. My point was that it happens.
And it shouldn't.
Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it shouldn't. But it does. And therefore...
You don't want to be around those people. I have such a talent when it comes to annoying John. He is thoroughly spiced right now.
I'm very spiced.
He's getting to the point where his dimples are coming out, which is how you know he's about to murder someone.
You think that means that I'm like happy? It actually means
No,
that
his entire face is just tensed right now. Look, you go ahead. After you. Okay, fine, I'll go. Your subconscious is entirely your realm of control. There are no excuses for allowing it to control you.
Your subconscious is called a subconscious for a reason. It means that it's something you don't think about.
Then you should be thinking about it.
You should try.
No, you should.
You can't.
You should. Look, okay. Do you want to know what my second favorite quote from Star Wars is? Do or do not. There is no try. Trying is for the weak. You do or you don't. You control your subconscious or you make excuses for it. Those are your options.
Well,
I rest my case.
Well, Paul, that Star Wars quote changed my mind.
I didn't expect it to. I'm not arguing against you. I'm arguing for the benefit of those listening. Your subconscious
If you are listening,
is not something that you can't control.
If you are listening right now, Paul is telling you, my opponent,
my opponent-in-law,
Paul is telling you not to worry about what you wear.
At home.
At home, okay, like in your house, or like I'm talking about like in public.
In recreational settings.
Like I don't care what I wear at my house.
In recreational settings.
Sure. So that could mean at the bar.
Yeah.
Like,
Bar,
it could mean
Walmart,
Walmart,
grocery shopping, at home, backyard.
And we're in Nebraska.
Social events.
And we're in Nebraska, so Walmart and the bar is pretty much all we got anyway.
That's pretty much it.
But,
Social events.
So
if somebody invites you into the
clear,
cornfield.
Right. So you're saying, to be clear, even if we're like racing a barn, which is, you know, that's a formal event in Nebraska. I'm just kidding. So what you're saying
you
is
lost
that
me for a second.
What you're saying is that you will not be negatively affected by not caring about your style.
No, I'm saying that you should be the kind of person that it won't affect what you think of other people. And if you're around someone that it will affect what they think of you, you don't want to be around that person. Actually, no, I'm not even going to say you don't. I'm going to say I wouldn't want to be around that kind of person. And I take great pains to not be around that kind of person.
Do you think when I'm selling, do you think I like every person I'm selling to?
Absolutely not. But
No.
it's your job. You're not in a recreational setting. You don't get a choice when you're at your job.
Right.
So you dislike them subconsciously. So you suppress
No,
that.
it's pretty conscious.
Yeah. But where does it start? Subconsciously. And you suppress that because you're at work.
Okay.
You know I'm right.
Paul, no.
You know I'm right.
I'm silent because I'm angry. Now, what Paul is saying is that, let's narrow it down, in public, your reputation about you shouldn't worry about it, essentially, when it comes to like how you dress.
Yeah.
And how that affects your reputation.
Sure.
What I am saying, because we had to close this segment because I'm eventually going to punch Paul in the face. What I'm saying is that everything bleeds into everything. Work bleeds into life, and life bleeds into work. And you see someone from your work, or that maybe you'll work with someday, and they see you in public and you look foolish, I don't think that's smart. I think you should look good everywhere you go, because it'll all bleed into itself. And like especially if you're like me, right? So like if you're like me and everything I do is affected by my image, like the band I'm trying to make successful, like you have to be liked by people in general. I'm in sales, same thing. I mean, everything I do is affected by that. Paul's not exactly in the same boat, but what I'm saying is, especially if you're in the same world as me, it matters. But it matters to everyone. And that's the segment. That's that part of it.
Just gonna shut that down before I have time to make you angry.
I'm already angry because you're arguing with like what any psychologist would say.
Yeah.
And who are you?
I'll tell you who I am. I am a follower of Sigmund Freud.
You don't even know how to say his name.
No. Not Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud.
Oh.
In Germany, there was a man who faked being a psychologist for 10 years. He was the dean of medicine, and no one caught him. Psychology is made up.
Oh!
Psychology
Paul.
is a scam.
Paul.
No, psychology's fake.
Your wife goes to a psychologist.
I know what I said.
Mel, come here.
No.
Mel, come here. Mel.
Hey, this is the brothers bylaw, not the
No,
brothers bylaw.
Mel's
plus
getting
sister.
involved.
I am the in-law.
Introducing my wife.
Melody, this is my sister. Paul is being stupid. He just told me that like.
What I said, well, let me present my argument.
Okay.
No, I've heard it.
Let me present my
I've
argument.
heard it.
You should not live your life in constant fear of what someone might see about you when you're not at work. You should not live your life in constant fear about someone who's at work. You should not live your life in constant fear that someone from your work might see you wearing some ratty pants and then you lose your job. That's my contention.
Okay.
I'm very
Even-
unreasonable
okay.
with that.
Mel, what do you think about this whole thing?
I don't know where the ratty pants thing came in.
John is saying that if you do not dress the part at all times, it will affect your reputation and you will lose jobs.
No, that's bullcrap.
No.
Only on
thank
the
you.
job. Only on the
No,
job.
no,
does that
thank
matter.
you.
So,
Thank you! Vindication!
everything ties together with everything. folks.
Wrong.
Therefore,
Maybe at work.
you feel more.
Maybe at work functions you should wear professional
Oh,
garb.
Yeah, at
Sure.
work.
But my philosophy is different. So I think I
thought you
want
were
to
a
feel.
specialist.
I want to feel confident everywhere I go, because when you're confident, when you go anywhere,
I'm
You're
not
more-
confident, man.
you're more confident when you're at work because it's like a habit. I never want to look like trash.
If you can't feel confident in some cute Patrick Star shorts and no shirt, I don't want to talk to you.
You know what? You know what I'm going to do right now?
I think we should move on to the next
I'm
one.
taking my clothes off.
Do it. You won't. No balls.
All right.
Do it. There's an open window right next to you, just so you know. Do it.
All right.
You said you were gonna.
I am.
Don't wuss out.
I am.
He's not.
I'm
He's
taking my.
refusing to.
I'm taking my
He's
clothes
not
off.
confident in this body.
Oh, there we go.
Nope. Not happening. He is. That is not how a zipper works. All right. You know what? We're gonna move on because I'm clearly right, and I have the backing of my wife, and that's the only person in this house whose opinion I even remotely
We've talked
respect.
about this on this podcast. Women are never right.
She is the only person in this house whose opinion I even remotely respect. So, the next thing we're going to talk about... it's been an hour already. I think we have to end it.
What are we going to talk about anyway?
Well, I think the main thing we were going with is that small decisions affect your life except how you dress when you're not at work. That does not affect you unless you're John.
So, the whole point of this podcast...
Do what you want. Everything is fake. We're all going to die anyway.
We learned a few things on this podcast
That
today.
John is
Shut up!
very
Be
angry.
quiet. We learned a few things on this podcast today. Paul does not understand how psychology works, number one.
John doesn't understand how freedom works.
Oh, that is such a...
John's a communist.
That's such a disingenuous statement.
John's a communist.
And, what else did we learn?
John's a communist.
This is serious for a second, okay?
Okay. What else did we learn?
Pay attention to the little things in your life because they add up.
Small things create the big things. No big decision was ever made by just itself. The small things add up to it. So clean your room, eat your food, not because it's good for you, but because it will lead to things that are bigger later.
Right.
And also dress how you want when you're not at work because nobody cares.
This has been the Brothers by Law podcast.
We're sorry.
Go ahead and
sorry.
like and subscribe.
Please.
I think we're probably going to jump off a bridge. So
Well, you might. You're going to take me with you.
that's exactly right.
You want to start a fight club?
Bro, don't talk about that.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. Like and subscribe to the one and only to the
God, stop.
to the Brothers by Law
Stop.
podcast from Omaha. By the way, if you're from the other Brothers by Law podcast that we found on YouTube,
Sorry.
we'll pay you like $50 if you just.
I don't have $50.
I'll pay it.
I'll give him a crisp high five and a Klondike bar.
Just don't sue us. And if you find out that we stole your name, well, I mean, we thought of it first, but we thought of it like 3 years ago. And but
Yeah.
the point is, we'll bribe you. We want to keep the name.
It's pretty
And,
good.
Like and subscribe to the Brothers by Law podcast with Paul and John. We will have more valuable lessons in the future, and we
might not kill each other.
We will teach you something else. We will make your life better. We are the
A
best.
mistake.
We are like the knowledge monkeys of the universe.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna take a second
God bless America and good night.
and wear whatever you want when you're not at work.